Change is one of the most difficult things we deal with in all aspects of life. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why I just quit my 8 to 5, safe, decent paying day job to pursue a dream that might lead me nowhere. Put everything on the line and see if we can make this work. You know, for any of this to make sense, we're going to have to go all the way back to where I started. I'm going to tell you guys some things about my past I haven't shared with you, some things I'm super proud of, some things maybe I'm not so proud of. But for it to make sense, we're going to have to go back and dive into that. We're going to have a little bit of a Wild Turkey 101 drink, which always helps with everything. It's my first one of the day, alright? Give me a break. Oh yeah, that's good. Alright, so we're going to start all the way back to when I was growing up. When I was only 2 or 3 or 4 years old, I became absolutely addicted to fishing. I know it's crazy at that young of age, but I used to go to my grandparents' cabin out of Johnson Lake, where I took you guys to a couple weeks ago, and my parents would sit me in this little bucket chair and throw my bobber out right in front of our cabin. And I would literally sit there the entire day. I would come in to eat, and they would have to drag me in basically to eat. And so growing up, basically that was my childhood. Every time I'd go to the cabin, every time my dad loved to do long distance running, so he'd take me, he'd go run, and I'd fish at whatever lake nearby. But I was obsessed with it. All I could think about was how to catch more and bigger fish. The next place I got to go fishing, and I didn't care if we were there for 10 minutes or 10 days. I was completely ate up with fishing. So growing up in a small town, I also played a lot of sports. So I became extremely competitive. You know, I played 3 sports growing up. Basketball, baseball, and football. And then in high school I played 4 sports. I added track and field to that, which I also loved. So a lot of my time during the summers and really all time of the year, I was extremely busy with sports, but I still got out. I fished every minute I could. And that's where my background comes from. That's where these bank fishing videos come from. That's where my background in different species comes from. When I was growing up, and I tell these younger kids this all the time that are in college fishing, high school fishing, fishing was not cool. It's kind of was like the outcast weird thing. Like, why does that kid go fishing in his free time? You know, why isn't he out going to movies or going to the lake to swim or boat or ride a jet ski around? I wasn't interested in any of that from the start. So I grew up through high school. You know, fishing was kind of like this taboo thing I did on the side that my close friends and family obviously knew. I was totally obsessed with it. And then along when I went to college, I went to the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. My good friend Tony said, you should come fish for this new club I started. It's a college fishing club. There's only 10 of them in the country right now. Come fish, come check it out. So I went there, fished my first tournament, absolute disaster, did terrible obviously, no idea what I was doing. I showed up with 3 spinning rods and I was throwing spinner baits and crank baits on my spinning rods, and that's fine if you do that. I'm just saying I was a little bit green, to say the least. Well, after that, I wanted to get better. I was extremely competitive. I wanted to get better at everything that I was doing with fishing. I wanted to figure out all these new techniques. I wanted to dive into bait casters and figure out why they were better than spinning rods for different applications. And I did all this research online. And this was without any of the YouTube or anything to really help a whole lot. This was like 2005, 6, 7, you know. YouTube had just taken off and no one really knew what it was in the fishing industry. So I go to school there for a year, then I decide I want to play baseball in college. So I went to a community college the next year to play baseball. College baseball is so much time and work. Like probably a 60 to 70 hour a week job with what we were doing. We were one of the best programs in the country, so it was worth it. It was great, and I worked my ass off, and I fished whatever I could. It definitely took away from fishing, but unfortunately there came a time where it was taking up so much time, and I wanted to get a degree. So at that time, I knew I loved fishing, and so what I wanted to do in my mind, I was really interested in science, so I was very interested in fisheries biology. I always was interested in science, so I decided I want to get a pre-biology at the junior college. Well, turns out we practiced 2 times a day, all day for baseball, Tuesday and Thursday, and that's when a lot of the classes were. So I wasn't getting anywhere with school, wasn't getting anywhere with my future really. You know, I knew I wasn't going to be a professional baseball player. Would have loved to have been, obviously. I could have played semi-professional somewhere and not made any money, but had fun with it. But it's not what I wanted to do with my life. You know, I wanted to go get a degree. I wanted to get a good job out of college. I wanted to travel around. So I decided I'm going to switch schools to Omaha yet again. So I switched to Omaha, get my degree set out. It's a 4-year college, and at that time you had to be a 4-year college to do college fishing. So I get all my classes signed up for. I decide on my major. I'm super pumped. I'm like, I'm going to go start a college fishing team. First one ever, University of Nebraska at Omaha, college fishing team. So I go to the club people, talk to them. It's going to be a little bit of a hassle, but we're going to make it work. So we made it work. So I'm all excited about that. And then, as I'm sure you guys know how life works, life threw me my biggest curveball, no pun on the baseball reference. Found out I was going to have a child with my girlfriend at the time. So that terrified me. I had no idea. I was 20 years old. I turned 21 a month before my son was born, and to say I wasn't ready to be a parent was a huge understatement. You know, I just wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready at that time. I don't know if anyone's ready to be a parent exactly when you get that little baby home and realize how much work and how much your life has changed. So obviously, you know, that's my main thing that was going on in life. Fishing took a huge backseat to everything I was doing. I was working my ass off, still trying to go to school full time, still trying to do the college fishing club, and it was a lot. So about a year later, we decided we're going to split up. So we split up. Super hard for my son, for my family, everything else. So I kept going to school, kept working really hard, kept working these terrible part-time jobs at telemarketing places where I did learn I'm decent at talking to people and decent at selling things. And so that was something good I took from it. I think you should always take something from every job, whether it's at McDonald's or an internship or anything else. I think that's important to take some from work. But I learned quite a bit doing that. So I did that for a while. I kept going to school, and we started doing these college fishing tournaments. So college fishing was super cool. It was new to me, but it was something I couldn't put a lot of time into. I was fishing college tournaments and local tournaments, trying to go to school, trying to raise my son, working part-time, struggled my ass off, worked so hard to get through school, and at the same time, college fishing was going really well too. You know, we qualified for regional, qualified for a national championship, had a good finish in the national championship for FLW, got on the FLW All-American college team, so that was super cool. So we started traveling around a lot doing that. So somewhere in this mix of me being super busy, I meet an amazing, amazing woman who is now my wife. As of a little bit over a year ago. About 4 Mays ago, I was lucky enough, I graduated. I finally did it. I graduate, I'm waiting tables, and it had become a couple months after I graduated, and I've been searching for real 8-to-5 jobs. So I finally get a hit. This environmental company wanted to hire me. It's a private environmental firm, and I was elated about it. My wife was, my family was super excited for me. So of course I take the job. And so that's where I've been the last 4 years or so, almost 4 years exactly from now, is at this job. So during that time, after I graduated, I've been fishing all these local, regional tournaments. So the more I work this job, I realize I want to work in the fishing industry. I love fishing. I'm obsessed with tournament fishing. I've been honing in my skills every freaking minute. Winter when there's 10 inches of ice on our lakes, to summer when it's 110 degrees in Nebraska. Everything I've been doing has been to be a better tournament fisherman every time I go out. I start realizing, you know, I had a week of vacation the first 3 years I worked at this place. So a week of vacation. So that means the majority of the time I was going to pre-fish, I was leaving a day early on Friday to pre-fish, or I was going to a 2-day tournament a ways away. I was taking time off and not getting paid. So I'm already down $120 after taxes I'm making a day. So I'm going to these tournaments, and it's, you know, $150 entry fee, small local tournaments. First place is $850 or $600 or something, you know. So I start realizing by the time I get there, if I don't win, then I'm not making any money at it. And I know it's not all about the money, but as a tournament fisherman, you want that big payday, and especially me growing up younger, I want to win. I want to win everything, and I'm super competitive. And you know, maybe me and Joe are a little bit goofy. We have a lot of fun with it when we're making videos these days. But something you guys don't see is me and Joe want to win these tournaments, and we're so competitive in nature. It's like we're fishing for $1 million every time we go out and fish for $250. We'd win a couple, but we'd spend a whole weekend 3 hours from home, take a day off of work, take a day off of work the week before to pre-fish also, and we start realizing if we don't win this, we're going to break even for second place maybe, or we're just going to lose money. And then of course there's the unknown that is the fish. You know, you can know exactly what you're doing going into these tournaments, have all the spots, and they can just change. And so you can have a terrible tournament. And so start realizing, since we're so competitive, it would almost like wreck the entire trip if we didn't win. And that's a problem. You know, fishing's supposed to be fun, and it was still fun. It still is fun, but if we didn't win, we were pissed the whole way home and for a couple days afterwards and trying to figure out what went wrong. And, you know, you get over it and you go fish the next one. So last year I decided, well, I'm going to go fish the FLW Costa series. And this is a big jump up. This is $1,500 entry fees each tournament for 3 tournaments. So $4,500 plus it's 3 weeks off of work. And if you make the championship, it's another week off work. So I'm up to 2 weeks vacation at this point last year. And I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make the jump. This is a waste of time and money for me fishing all these local tournaments. I'm gaining a lot of knowledge from it, but a big waste of money for me. I'm spending a lot of time away from my family on weekends. I'm going to make this jump. So I think it's almost taboo to talk about this in the fishing industry. I'll probably ruffle some feathers saying this. The fishing tournament industry with BASS and FLW is completely broken. 100% broken. And this is something we'll probably dive into a little bit more in a future video. Maybe I'll do a whole video about this. But these two companies are making millions of dollars just from sponsorship money. Just money coming in, free money from sponsors to put their logo on their website or their logo at the arena or at the tournament weigh-in or on their magazine. Or these host cities are paying them a huge amount of money to come there. They don't just go to Lake Oahe in South Dakota because it's a cool new place. No, they go there because Pierre, South Dakota put down, I don't know what the exact dollar figure is, but hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars to host that tournament. People don't realize that. Another thing that's broken, Ranger just announced their new damn boat is $99,000 base price. I wouldn't buy that boat for $30,000 if I had the money. Anyway, I digress. These companies are getting super, super rich, and you got these pro fishermen that are paying their entire way. So you got pro fishermen spending $25,000, $50,000, $75,000 in entry fees, travel costs, gas, hotels, baits, everything else, everything that goes along with fishing, insurance, truck payment, boat payment. They're getting that far in the hole before they even make a cast for the season. And I started realizing that more and more. Even with a $4,500 worth of entry fees, it's going to be $1,000, $1,500 for each of them to travel to. So I'm almost $12,000 in the hole. All the vacation time I have, I'm going to fish these tournaments, so I got no vacation time with my family. And I'm just like, this isn't for me. It was heartbreaking. It was like, I love fishing. I have to have a job that has to do with fishing. And I don't want to go work as a marketing manager or as a salesperson at Bass Pro Shops. Like that's retail. I have no desire to go do that. Or go work for a company I don't believe in. So then I started fishing with Andrew Flair. That was a big changing moment in my life also. I started seeing, honestly, I had no idea that this YouTube thing was happening with these guys the last 4 or 5 years. I think the first time I fished with him, it's kind of funny, he only had like 35,000 subscribers. And all of a sudden, a year later, I fished with him again and he's got 200,000 subscribers. And I'm just like, how does this work? You know, what is this? Like, what else do you do? You know, so what's your job? I mean, you're getting all these views and all these subscribers. Well, what do you do for a living? He said, no, I'm doing the YouTube thing, and I'm going here next week, and I'm going to Canada for a week. I'm going to Florida. I'm fishing with Scott Martin, fishing with these awesome guides in California then in a month. I'm like, what is going on here? You know, this kid's parents giving him all this money. Started to see the business side of this. You know, my wife got me a GoPro a couple years ago, and I always enjoyed filming some of my fishing stuff, but I always thought, you know, if I don't go out and crack a 25-pound limit on a bait, then it's not really worth putting a video together. I didn't realize until fishing with him and watching some of his stuff, it's not about that. It's about the struggle. It's about your real life fishing trip. It's about going cool places and showing people these new tactics and tricks. And all this stuff I've learned the last 25 years of my life fishing, I can share those in video format. So I fished with him and Joe last fall, and I decided, you know, I'm going to try this. And I told my wife, I'm going to give this a go. I don't know if I got time to make one video every 2 weeks or one video a week or, God forbid, a couple videos in a week. So I decided I'm going to do this. So I start putting these videos out, and, you know, I asked Flair, I was like, how much money do you make from this? You know, how much do you make per view? Like, he's like, oh, it's, you know, it's a couple dollars per 1,000 views. So my first like 3 videos combined get like 600 views. I was like, all right, so I made like $1 and put all this time into 3 videos. What am I missing here? And he said, no, man, just consistency's key. Just keep putting them out, keep putting them out. So I keep working on it, and I got 150 subscribers by January 1st. I'm like, 100 subscribers, you know, that's cool. So I keep putting it out, and my videos start getting more and more views. And I told my wife, I said, you know, there might be something to this. If I can find the time, if you're okay with me taking 2 or 3 nights a week to film and edit videos, which is a lot. That's a lot of time to ask from somebody when I'm already, you know, I got my son several nights a week. I got obviously everything else going on in my life, and she said, you can make that commitment if it'll make you happy. And so I said, all right, I think I can do this. She said, we got to figure something out though. We got to put a number in mind. And I'm not going to tell you guys that number yet. Maybe I'll tell you at the end of the year. If you have this many subscribers or this many views, if you don't have them by this date, then you need to realize that we need to maybe try something else, try a different career. I said, absolutely. I completely agree with you, and I completely understand where you're coming from. So making these videos, they're getting more and more views, and it's starting to pay some bills. And so I'm to the point where I know if I can put 3, 4, 5, 6 videos out a week. I've seen these guys do it. I've seen Lunkers TV do it. I've seen Flair do it with 3 videos a week, 4 videos a week. Perrick, John, all these guys, all these other channels too. If I can start putting out more content, I think I can make it and start paying bills immediately. But I can't put out that much content if I'm working 40 plus hours a week from 8 to 5. How am I going to put out 5, 6 videos a week when I have 12 hours of free time a week, and that's how much time it takes me to make a video and a half? So we had a couple good months. I'm making the plunge. I put my 2-week notice in from work about 3 weeks ago, so I quit. And now we're doing the YouTube thing full time. We're gonna hope it works. You know, my videos are super raw. I don't cut a lot of stuff out. Sometimes there's some inappropriate stuff on. There's some swearing, and sometimes we get pissed off. You know, I'm super excited for the opportunity of what can happen. You know, luckily I have the support of my wife. She's been my backbone. She's pretty much kept my life together since we met. I don't think you can do something like this or make this type of jump without a support system like that, but I quit my job. We're going to do this YouTube thing. So what's that mean for you as a viewer? That means more content for you guys. I'm going to try to travel around, give you new content, different types of content, but I'm always going to be myself. I'm not going to change. You know, I've been telling people this for weeks, but I've got 3 Milliken fishing apparel designs made, done, ready to sell. I just want to have them first. I want to make sure the quality is good from this website I'm using, and then you will have them. So you'll see me wearing those very soon, hopefully. You know, this wouldn't be possible without you, the viewer. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch my stupid ass fishing videos. I'm doing my best to make them, but I know at times they get boring. This one was probably terrible. A lot of you guys, if you're still on, if you're still watching this video, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I say it at the end of every video, thank you for watching. I seriously, truly mean that. I got a tournament I'm fishing. That video will be out tomorrow. I'm going to start traveling around. I'm going to South Dakota. I'm going to Colorado here soon. Mississippi River and La Crosse. Got a lot of fish catching to do. Got a lot of slaunches to catch. Be looking out for some slaunch apparel, some Milliken fishing slaunch apparel coming your way soon. For now, though, I'm out of here, guys. Thank you so much for the support. If there's anything you can take from this, sometimes you just got to make that change in your life where you go 2 feet into whatever you're doing. You don't half-ass it. You don't hope it works out and spend a little bit of time on it and maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't work out. Maybe I'll have to get a different job here in a year, but for now, I'm going to keep busting my ass and bring you guys the best videos I possibly can. Thank you so much for your time. Seriously, guys. I'm out of here. Here's to me quitting my job.